Storms to our west tonight, obviously right here in the Quad Cities, and this is east in Chicago as well out there. Massive lightning strikes all caught on tape just before the rain started pouring down throughout the city there. So much of the Midwest tonight, Terry, getting some flashes out there.
Yeah, we saw this coming several days ago. We knew this was going to be an active week of weather around here. When you get to May, the temperatures in the 80s and dew points that are in the upper 60s, that's a really volatile combination. So tonight we finally got the ingredients necessary to kick it all off. And this may not be the end of it. There's a chance in the next 2-3 days of some additional severe weather around here. I think the thing tonight, though, is all the rain that's beginning to develop around the central and southern parts of our viewing area, and our radar is certainly going to show you an impressive scene there. So let's go to that, if we could, please, on our storm tracker. And here's a scene, too, that the utility companies do not like to see. Look at all that flashing. That is lightning. And there's some video. Was this shot here tonight, do you know, Jason?
This is in Moline.
This is Moline, yeah. That's coming down pretty good, I'd have to say.
Yep.
And you can already see the issues of water just can't drain into the ground that fast. So when you get a couple big rounds of storms like we are tonight, that's when you're going to have your flash flooding issues, and the smaller creeks and streams really fill up fast.
You know, it's interesting, Terry, usually around this time of year, we're worried about snow melt and the flooding that's caused by that. And this year, that hasn't been an issue at all.
Right.
But something like this, with all the saturation that we've had over the last week, we've had 5 days where it's rained consistently. So we have ground that's already very saturated. What does this mean for the farmers who have just planted?
Well, that's not necessarily a good thing for them. Too much rain is never a good thing. Too little is neither. But you have to have that perfect balance. And in the spring, every year we run into these situations where we get a wet period. And it's important because later in the summer months, when it does get hot and it's dry, you want to have that subsoil moisture for the crop. So they're just going to have to sit back and hope this moves out and we get a nice stretch of weather in the next week or so where things can dry out once again. But with 2 more days of potential severe weather around here, this could be an ongoing problem. And I do think some of the fields, especially the low-lying areas, will have some issues with water, and that could have some impacts on the corn crop too. I'm not an expert corn grower by any stretch of the imagination, but the germination process is just now beginning around some parts of the area.
We do have some updated outage numbers right now. Alliant Energy customers, they're apparently all doing fine in our viewing area right now. Iowa side of the river in the Quad Cities, 227 Mid-American customers are without power. 200 on the Illinois side of the river are without power as well. And if crews have to battle through some of what they're seeing out there tonight, it could be a little wait until they get that electricity flowing in their homes again.
Well, that's for sure. You got to be really cautious when you're seeing the lightning like we are out there tonight, and it is virtually nonstop there for a while. That's dangerous stuff, to say the least. So these little bands of thunderstorms just continue to push on through and redevelop. So the instability tonight not really going away, and that's why we're seeing such a prolonged period of showers and thunderstorms. But thank goodness the tornado threat has really tailed off here in the past hour or so.
Well, let's check in with Denise Hanitka. She is live for us tonight in Davenport. Earlier, Denise, you weren't seeing much rain.
Okay. And we just have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Cassie just conveyed that. That's Clinton and Scott counties. There you see the orange boxes, Rachel. That is where we do have the severe thunderstorm warnings. You say 11 o'clock, Cassie?
11 o'clock, yes.
11 o'clock. And I'm guessing that's probably going to be to wind, since there has been a history of wind with some of those storms there. And certainly the heavy rainfall we've been talking about.
Well, let's go ahead and check in then with Denise Hanitka, who is in Davenport in Scott County, and see what she's saying there. Denise?
Hi, Rachel. We are in downtown Davenport. We're at Harrison and River Drive, and really for the first time we're starting to see some winds. Nothing that's going to prove dangerous for us right now, but for the first time we are getting a few gusts that are starting to move the trees out here. I think I'm hearing some kind of siren go off right now. The rain, though, is letting up, but as we've been seeing on the radar all night, those lightning strikes are still an issue for this area. So we'll keep you posted from here in downtown Davenport. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Denise, for that report out of downtown Davenport this evening.
A hectic night here in our News 8 studios as well. Cassie Hyder and Storm Teammates Terry Swales have been running around. Several power bumps and outages here as well. And once again, a severe thunderstorm warning is back in effect for part of our area now. So we send it back over to Storm Teammates Terry Swales for the latest on that. Hey, Terry.
All right, thanks very much. Let's get in on this storm a little bit tighter if we could, Cassie. And once again, here's the Quad Cities. Back at the news desk, I know Jason and Rachel are still working up that way. Is there anything that you guys need to convey at this point in time, or how are we doing on our
We've had
timing
some more
here.
storm reports come
Okay.
in, Terry. Thank you very much. In Scott County, we have reports of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts in northern Scott County.
And Mid-American has just updated their outage map. It's apparently getting worse on the Iowa side of the river. 603 Mid-American customers now without power in the Metro Quad City area, 200 on the Illinois side of the river still. I believe we still have News 8's Denise Hanitka back in downtown Davenport with more on what she is seeing out there. The wind had really died down earlier, and Denise, last time we checked in with you a few minutes ago, you said the wind was starting to pick up a little bit.
Yeah, and it definitely really is now. I mean, it's a dramatic change even from, 2 minutes ago when I talked to you last, so much so that I had to put my hair back. So I guess for the ladies out there, that says something. But really, the rain, not a factor out here. We have not seen any minor street flooding or anything like that, no matter how much it came down earlier in the evening when we last checked in with you. And again, we're not seeing those power outages that maybe some other folks in Scott County and the Quad City area that you've been talking about. So basically pretty calm other than these winds picking up. So I'm not sure what that means as far as how much the storm is going to affect us here in the next hour or so. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Denise. We want to head across the river one more time. In Moline, we have News 8's Jonathan Ketz standing by. Jonathan, what are you seeing right now?
A little bit of the same thing as Denise, I think, except for the fact that there's not even a whole lot of wind. The rain has really kind of died down here in the past 15 or 20 minutes since the last time we talked to you. Still things fairly calm here in Moline, and you really wonder whether or not the storm is hitting mostly Davenport and Bettendorf and kind of Scott County on the Iowa side.
Good to see the lights still on at the 7-Eleven. Cassie and Terry have been on the air for a very long time tonight. I think we're going to have to go over and get them a soda or a coffee here in a little
We
bit.
owe him one for sure.
Speaking of, let's toss it back now over to Terry Swales, who is watching these watches and warnings across our area. Terry?
All right, let's do one more recap here, and then we're going to wind it down for a little while. First of all, we do have the tornado watches still in effect for about the southern half of our viewing area. We'll have regular updates for you throughout the evening. Jason, Rachel, back to you.
All right, thank you, Terry. Running some numbers once again, 603 Mid-American customers in Iowa remain without power, 200 Mid-American customers in Illinois. In Walcott at 10:14 tonight, wind reported at 70 miles an hour there. In Washington, Iowa, they have seen more than 3 inches of rain. That report just coming in, and the National Weather Service reporting a train spotter in Muscatine seeing flash flood conditions in Muscatine. A flash flood warning once again not in effect out there, but it has rained so much across so many parts of our area that they're dealing with a lot of rain.
Exactly. We also had reports of heavy rain right now in Kewanee, also sirens going off in Clinton. So a lot of our viewing area, significant portions, seeing heavy lightning, heavy winds, heavy rains this evening. A very active evening as far as the weather's concerned.
That is a live look at Moline right now. You can still see the lightning flashing in the distance, and once again, no shortage of rain out there. And Terry, if we can steal you back over at the desk for just a couple more minutes here as we kind of round this all out tonight. And once again, you guys got on the air at about 8 o'clock this evening.
Right, that was
shortly after.
the first tornado warning, and been on the air ever since. And I know that kind of irks some people when you're breaking into the television coverage like we were tonight, but we feel that's a situation that needs to be covered. We have to be on the air for that, and that's our number one priority here at WQAD, is to bring you the best severe weather coverage possible and to keep our viewers safe, and that's the whole objective behind that situation.
We're going to keep you here. We've got just a couple minutes left, and why don't we send it back to Denise Hanitka live in downtown Davenport, where she can update us on any conditions or anything going on out there. Hi again, Denise.
The thing that I've been noticing, hi there, Jason. The thing I've been noticing here in just the last few minutes is, boy, the thunder is really starting to roar out there. That just kind of makes you jump when you're standing here. But as I've been showing you earlier, the rain is really coming to a stop. It's the wind that's once again picking up. And, we saw the rain real heavy towards the early at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. But ever since then, we haven't seen those torrential downpours like we had seen before. So we don't have any issues of street flooding, anything minor like that here in downtown Davenport. So just the wind tonight, the lightning continues to light up the skies, and now we're starting to hear some thunder. So that's all we're seeing here in downtown Davenport. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Denise. We're actually hearing some of that same thunder outside of our studios right now. We saw the rain had picked up in Moline a little bit from our live look earlier. You have one last look at the radar for us?
One last look for the least time being here, and once again, you can see that there is more rain to the southwest of the Quad City metro area, moving east-northeast. So that's going to be coming back in here very shortly. So Denise is going to get a good gusher, and most of the Quad City area will as well. Still got that warning out for northern Scott County, where we could see some winds in the range of around 60 to 70 70 miles per hour. That's kind of now moved off into northeastern Scott County and southeastern Clinton County. And otherwise, flash flooding has occurred in some parts of our viewing area, and that could be an ongoing problem for the next couple of hours. But as far as the real severe weather in terms of tornadoes, I think that threat's pretty much winding down.
All right, thanks so much, Terry, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. We will see you as weather breaks or in the morning.